A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark, chapter 1, verses 40 to 45. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. A leper came to him, begging on his knees, "If you want to, you can cleanse me." Deeply moved, Jesus put out his hand, touched him, and said, "I want to. Be clean." Then and there the leprosy was gone, his skin smooth and healthy. Jesus dismissed him with strict orders. "Say nothing to anyone. Take the offering for cleansing that Moses prescribed and present yourself to the priest. This will validate your healing to the people." But as soon as the man was out of earshot, he told everyone he met what had happened, spreading the news all over town. So Jesus kept to out-of-the-way places, no longer able to move freely in and out of the city. But people found him and came from all over. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to Mark chapter 1, verses 40 to 45. To cure a leper was equivalent in Jesus' time to resurrect a dead person. The state of the leper is the mirror of the condition of the sinner. Leprosy does not kill, but it makes one lose sensitivity. Thus, a person can be burned, hurt, and doesn't realize it. But the consequences are very serious. This is exactly what happens to those who lose their moral sensibility. Leprosy makes you lose your physical sensitivity, but spiritual leprosy makes you lose your moral sensitivity, no longer distinguishing between what is good and what is bad, what humanises and what degrades, and becomes unrecognizable as a person. The disfigured image of the leper is a prototype of the image of a sick humanity, where there are all kinds of violences and injustices, where creation is devastated because everyone is concerned about himself or herself. The spiritual leprosy that disfigures the person and also humanity is incurable, with people who are selfish, competing with each other, hurting each other. It is an incurable leprosy. A leper was regarded as cursed by God, and he could not afford to set his foot in the temple due to his impurity. Approaching Jesus was a risky affair for him, for he could lose his life for coming out into the public. Jesus is angry that this wrong image of God has been instilled in this poor man's heart. Many people have turned away from God and the church because of the wrong preaching and the catechism of a blasphemous face of God. The Gospel tells us that Jesus extended his hand to touch this leper. A word from Jesus would have been enough to cure the leper. But why does Mark mention the detail that he extended his hand? It is an expression that we find in the Old Testament. When God extended his hand, he would strike the enemies of his people. In this case, it is not the leper who is struck by the hand of God, but the leprosy that destroys in man the image of his Creator. And then Jesus touches him. Touch is the sense that puts us more in touch with each other. Jesus touches the leper, caresses the leper. This is our God, the God we now see in Jesus of Nazareth, a God who already at baptism stood by the sinners, and here even caresses the leper and says to him, "I want you to be purified."